Now then, welcome back to another episode on the Utopia server. Me and Doodart here today. We're at the nuclear power plant and we're making a few renovations. We're planning to install a fusion reactor here over the next couple of weeks, let's say. And all of the gubbins and things that are needed to make it run successfully, in theory.
Yeah, all of the gubbins. There's
all
so
of the
many gubbins.
We've spent ages gathering resources, making stuff and more stuff, and automating the making of stuff because we don't want to make so much stuff. And we have tons and tons and tons of components and bits and pieces everywhere across 3 AE systems.
Thank God for AE.
Yeah.
A&E.
A&E. Thank God for A&E. When we have a nuclear explosion, we get sent off. No. So we are about ready to start constructing it, aren't we, Doodart? We're about ready.
Yeah, I think so. Given all of the components and all of the different bits, I've got a little bit lost, and so there might be some bits that we haven't got. But
they'll be all sorted off-camera, viewers. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We're going to make sure that we show you the fundamental parts of building this fusion reactor. Thank you, Doug. Just go and shake your tail somewhere else, Doug. We're going to show you the the details about how to construct your own fusion reactor without boring you with all the details about how to gather the stuff, how to craft the components, and how to spend 3 weeks making the fusion reactor and everything else. We're just going to put it together over the course of the next couple of episodes, maybe 3 episodes, layer by layer, and show you all of the details of how it all goes together, or at least how we put it together. Maybe you can offer some advice when we're done, but this time around we're doing it our way, and if it blows up in our faces, well, at least we tried, eh?
It would make a pretty explosive end to the season.
Yeah, we wouldn't really want to come back after that, would we? We'd wait until the next season starts. So, we're going to demolish these 4 nuclear reactors, so that we can take these nuclear reactors and move them over to more of a central position in the room, so that we can then AE feed and extract and do all of the stuff with the gubbins of nuclear power to get that first stage ready, so that we can power all of the machines in the next layer, which will make everything that we need to power the fusion reactor. And also we will need 40 million EU to start the fusion reactor.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Unless we've miscounted a 0 and it's 400 million EU. But I think it's 40 million. Yeah, you've checked as well, haven't you, Doodart?
Yeah, although that wiki has been shown to be a bit wrong.
Okay.
We're just going to wing it and see what happens.
Greg Tech is on hard, so the chances are it's going to be 400 million, thousands and thousands more than we expect. But we're going to give it a go, and we're going to cut all of the crap out of it. We're just going to show you working details of the project as we go. So we're going to rip this range down now with a wrench, because I've already broken one of those nuclear reactor blocks and it became a machine block because I'm a noob. We're going to rip it all apart, and then we'll be back with you in a bit with it set up in a different arrangement.
Yeah, do you want me to change the floor first with this magical stick?
Oh yeah, do that as we fade to black and move on to the next scene. Check it out. We're using magic to make nuclear science work.
I don't know why there's snowballs going everywhere. Oh dear.
I don't know, but I'm going to throw them at you anyway.
Oh no.
Have snowballs! So, here we are, Doodart, with the new arrangement. Moments after we dismantled it all. It's actually been quite quite some time, folks. We've been getting all this sorted. Those reinforced blocks are quite difficult to remove. Take a bit of time. And all this rigging that we've been doing, we've wired in the AE system through the tower from the AE up there. And we've got a power cable ready to take power up to the AE system once everything's active and working. And the AE system now runs through and into this room, this structure. So far, Doodart set up these nuclear reactors. Could you explain what's going on in these nuclear reactors for us, Doodart? Because I have no clue.
Okay, well, the uranium cells, I was just about to place one in there. That probably isn't a good idea.
Yeah, because we haven't rigged the rest of it yet, have we?
I'll tell you what, I'll put cobble in. Oh, I can't place cobble in it.
The empty slots.
Yeah, the 4 empty slots, yeah.
Yeah.
That is where you put quad uranium cells in. And then the blocks adjacent to it, so the gold crosses or the overclocked heat vents, will then extract the heat from them. These things are all about heat. If they reach a certain heat, they will do some nasty things like melt blocks around base, turning them into lava. They can also kill the player and create radiation, which will irradiate you.
All sounds awesome.
Yeah, all lovely things. And so all of those items inside the inventory of the nuclear reactors are there to sort of absorb and take away the heat.
They're essentials.
They are.
So we've got, as you put them, the gold crosses, which are overclocked heat vents. The silver pointy ones, which are component heat vents. The gold pointy ones, which are component heat exchangers. And 60k coolant cells.
Yeah, I believe the coolant cells in the corners are not actually essential. You can run it without them.
Okay.
But for our purposes, it makes a lot of sense to have them in there because of the AE system.
And other than this is how the diagram shows, is there a reason for them being in this particular layout?
Yeah, they have to be in this layout. Otherwise, it'll explode.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Is it like pointy bits to pointy bits? It has to have pointy bits pointing at other pointy bits in the right way round to do something.
Something like that. You can download a special program that uses Java that will calculate different patterns.
Okay. That's interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
Link in the description, maybe? I don't know. Probably not in my description, because I don't know where the link is. And these have got some sort of damage bar. These component heat exchangers have got a damage bar.
Yeah, if they go all the way down to red, it means that they're not doing their job anymore.
Okay, and if we are constantly resupplying this nuclear reactor, are they ever going to hit red, or will these all coolant cells and stuff prevent that?
Should be fine.
Should be fine. That's the words we want to hear, folks. That's what we want to hear. Should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. And that's why we're not putting the reinforced housing around it anymore, because this is sort of as tried and tested as it could be. This is how Doodart's been running his nuclear reactors for at least a month, I would say, with no problems.
I believe it's been updated twice since then, and it's still going okay.
It's a long time since you blew something up.
Yes.
So we're not going to put the reinforced blocks around this time. Although...
and then we're going to cross our fingers, yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't recommend that you copy us exactly. You should use these reinforced blocks, which I think are over in one of these. Here we go. Reinforced stone. So type that into your NEI.
Or even better, use the Thorncraft ones.
The Thorncraft blocks that are impenetrable to blasts or whatever, yeah. So use something like that if you're doing it for the first time. But I have faith in Doodart that this is going to work without us needing any blast protection whatsoever.
You evil laugh.
Yes. And then over here, we've got a little setup which is breeders.
Yes.
And are these basically the nuclear reactor without the bits on the sides?
Yeah, this is a nuclear reactor because you can make your nuclear reactor all different sizes. Basically, you stick an extra one of these yellow blocks on the outside of it, and it increases the inventory size inside it.
Oh, you've got that fourth one to show us, haven't you? To show this in process before we come back over to these breeders.
No, I don't, because I've used them here.
Okay. We haven't got one of those, folks. Ignore that last statement.
Yeah.
So basically, one of these gets put in the center block space, and you can't build it any other way. You'd have to put a block in the right place first, wouldn't you? And then put the nuclear reactor on here.
Yeah, and then put the nuclear reactor chambers on the outside of it by shift clicking. Yeah.
Okay, and each chamber adds the inventory space, but you only need one, really. You could run it like a breeder like this, with his just the nuclear reactor itself with a few components in, which are the same sort of components as you've used over the other side.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got reactor heat vents instead of overclocked.
Yeah, which sound like they work the same way, really, don't they? They all fit into a nuclear reactor, so it should be fine. So what do these breeders do then for us?
They basically, the bits that you pull out of the nuclear reactors, the sort of waste, as it were.
I think I've got a near depleted uranium cell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. You put that into the breeder, along with something else called a double thorium cell.
Okay.
And then that sort of sucks the heat out of the thorium cell, puts it back into the near depleted uranium cell, turning it into a re-enriched uranium cell.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a way of turning your waste products from your nuclear reactors into usable fuel for your nuclear reactors.
Which is ideal when you're getting started, because it saves a bit of resources. But you think that you've probably got more than enough uranium already stored up to be able to keep this going for quite a long time, so this is just going to be a bonus.
Yeah, this is just for show, for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if we're going to do something over the long term, we would need this sort of rig to make sure that it was constantly supplied and resupplied. But what were the numbers to do 4 reactors like that? You said something like 456 or something breeders.
256. That was a total guess off the top of my head. I did not even work it out, but yeah, that was a rough guess.
About 250 of these to support those 4 in a constant flow, which we're not going to do. But if you're just running one, then you probably need a few of these, and every now and again you'll run out of power, and you'll just need to wait for one of these breeders to catch up, or re-enrich them yourself some other method. Yeah? Yeah. Right, so now we've got the AE system. So far, all we've got on the AE system is import buses, and that is basically importing into the AE system the near depleted uranium cells. So when there's no juice left in it, the AE system will take it, and that's as far as we've got with the AE system at the minute. Yep. So it will remove near depleted uranium cells from every single nuclear reactor here. Now we're going to put that into practice with putting an export bus on now. So we are now going to rig up so that it will put in the enriched ones. So I'm going to work like so. And this export bus I'm going to set up with re-enriched uranium cells. That's right, isn't it? So any...
No, what for the input?
For the input into the slots.
Is these.
Okay.
Quad uranium cells, which are just 3.
Okay, so I'll do a quad uranium cell into there. So any quad uranium cells in the AE system will automatically fill those 4 empty slots. Okay?
Yep.
That's good. And we need to do a bit of crafting to make those quads, presumably.
Yes.
So that's going to happen up at your AE system tower thing. Yeah?
Yeah, it can do.
Do you want to make your way up there, and we'll show the viewers how we're going to rig that up next?
Yeah. There needs to be a centrifuge process in it as well.
Okay, so we probably want the centrifuge process to be down here then, really?
I'm getting a bit confused, Nemsun. We need you want to craft the quad uranium cells from the things coming out of the breeders. We can do that just from crafting.
Are you planning on just making a load of quad cells and putting them in the AE system?
Yeah.
Before we even turn it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even while it's going, because it'll take a while to tick through some. I've got a bit of a stock, so...
Well, we need at least 12 in there to get things started then.
Yep.
And that should get things started. But before you put them into the AE system, we should really have an output of power to an MFSU or something like that.
Yep.
So that might be the next stage, is to put the power from the nuclear reactors into the power storage blocks to at least just be ready to move it on to the next place.
Yeah, so we're going to need a whole load of MFSUs.
Well, you only really need one on each for now, because the power's going to get used up. So higher up in the tiers, we're going to need to capture any spare.
Well, one nuclear reactor will probably fill 4. That'd be fine.
How fast? You see, we're going to be using it per tick as well, aren't we?
These things put out something like 5,000 EU a tick. 5,000
EU a tick. And for the centrifuges and electrolyzers and all that, we're probably going to be using about, well, at least that. So yeah. We don't need the energy to be stored up en masse right now. We just need it to be stored up before it goes to the next stage. Yeah?
Okay. So we'll still need to make a few MFSUs, but we can do that.
How many have you got?
At the moment, there's one.
One. Okay, so we're going to rig up some MFSUs onto this setup here, and then probably put a floor in, a new platform ready for us to rig the next stage on top. And then we'll give it a quick click of a switch and fill it up with cells and watch it explode in our faces, or work perfectly and start filling the MFSUs. And then we're done for this episode. We'll move on to the next section. So we'll catch you in a bit, guys. We've now installed the floor. Doodart has carefully placed all of these lovely blocks to give us this shiny black floor. Well, maybe not shiny exactly, but it's a nice black floor, isn't it? It's going to be good for dividing up the areas. And down here, we've connected the cables so that every single nuclear reactor will be powering whatever MFSU has space in it, really. Yeah. So we're going to place MFSUs above the level here, yeah? And I've never placed one before, so I'm going to make sure that I'm above it so that it points the thing at me. Orange dot to me, yes. The one output, as I understand it, always faces you. That's what you told me, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You have a special key on your keyboard that can swap it to being the reverse of that, so it faces away. By default, it's \.
You're confusing me.
Doesn't matter.
\/ just makes it do the opposite of what it should do.
Yeah, it will pull up a little display in your chat box saying that you've swapped it.
When you're holding it, presumably.
No. If you try pressing \/ now, it's like a toggle switch.
Okay, one block away, facing set to away, facing towards. Ah, cool. Yeah. So that does it for every block ever in the game now. If I changed it,
I think so. Yes.
That's cool to know. Good to know. As Sento would say, the more you know. Right, so now we've got 4. So the nuclear reactors could start filling up these 4. But we don't want to stop there. We want to make sure that the nuclear reactor will go straight up into the fusion reactor when the time comes. So we're going to make sure that we've got cable going straight up. Straight up like this. And we also want it to power all of the processes in the power plant in the early stages to make all of the liquids that we need. So let's come out from these angles, opposites on both sides, and put down another MFSU on each of those. So as I understand it, you might need to correct me here. You want to put some MFSUs on these. The power from the nuclear reactor will come up to the first MFSU, and then it will send packets of 512 out along the fibre wire. You did them in the wrong places, Doodart.
No, I didn't.
Because they were going to come off the side. Because we're going to go.
In which case, we don't want MFSUs, we want MFEs.
So we can. Oh, okay, right. So this is extra storage for the fusion reactor.
Yeah, I mean, or for the next layer up, for the centrifuges, or.
Okay, yeah, yeah, we got it. So as we see it, the 512 packets will go and fill the nearest available storage box thing, MFSUs in this case. So it'll fill up this one first, then packets will travel up to the next one. But if it's got a demand out to the side, which will be a lower voltage because of the electrolyzers will be on this level. The electrolyzers will be on a lower voltage, so they'll get the power that they need when they need it. And when they're full, it'll carry on going up to the MFSUs, which will carry on going up to the next level, towards the fusion reactor in the top. And eventually, when we've got the fusion reactor running, we won't need the nuclear reactors anymore. In theory. We may leave them running anyway, though, just to give it a bit of extra juice. But that looks like we now need to have the next type of low voltage. We need to transform these into low voltage for the electrolyzers, I believe.
Medium voltage for electrolyzers?
Medium voltage, okay. So we need to connect a couple of transformers. What's that?
That's a transformer.
That's a transformer. So that'll take the 512. Robots in disguise. So that'll take the 512 packet and convert it into a 256 packet, which is medium voltage.
Yeah.
I'm getting it. I'm such a noob when it comes to industrial craft stuff. I've been playing with MJs all the time on the Utopia server, and this is the first time I've been really getting into any sort of EUs. And then it goes into an MFE, which then will output 128 per tick, which is...
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes down from 512 down to 128, so it doesn't halve. Okay, fair enough.
I thought 128 was low voltage. No, 64 is low voltage.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, the more you know, as Senta would say.
Between us, we're going to get it.
Between us, yeah. And that is the setup that we're going to leave this episode on, I think. We will start moving across all of those electrolyzers. And if you didn't see that episode, it was last episode on Utopia. I set them all up. And I'm going to set them up around here, now using this as the power supply. But before we go, Doodart, would you like to do the honours?
I'm really scared.
Don't be scared. I'm going to stand right here. I trust you.
And I have armour that will protect me from a nuclear blast. You
really?
Don't.
Yeah, but if I die, I die. I trust you.
We've got two things. We can turn the reactors on with the levers.
Okay.
And you have a way of putting in the uranium cells that I have all in my inventory?
The quad uranium cells are in the export bus, so if you put them in the AE system, they will automatically go in there. So I'm going to open one up and watch the magic happen. There we go. That's the first one in. Second, third, fourth. There we go. That nuclear reactor has fully stocked itself automatically by the AE system. That one has, and that one has. So all three have automatically stocked themselves, and now what do we do?
Turn it on and hope for the best.
Flick a switch, boing. Flick a switch, boing. That's all three on. And no big explosion. See, I told you. Every faith in you. And now these should start filling up like a mofo. Yep. And these ones at the end, the MFEs. Yep. All filling up nicely. And the ones above. Yep. For now, though, it'll be splitting all of its production into 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 MFSUs and 2 MFEs. So it'll take a little while before these are all powered up. But while that's powering up, we will be adding more quad uranium cells to the AE system. And we will be moving all of the electrolyzers and aqueous accumulators and all that shizzle over here into this next floor, this next level.
Do you want to have a look at the temperature of these nuclear reactors?
How do you see temperature?
You take this, which is a digital thermometer. You run over and you just right-click on it.
You don't stick it anywhere ugly. It's a thermometer, I don't know. Right-click on it. It is water evaporating 5,000, melting 8,500. And its hull heat is 0.
Yeah, 0 is the important number. The other two numbers are its sort of warning. Like, if it reaches that, then those things will happen.
So that means that all of those cooling cells and stuff in there are doing their job perfectly.
Yeah.
So if we took some of these out and got it to go to say 3,000, we could potentially fit more uranium cells in there.
If you can get it stable at 3,000, yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, once it starts getting hot, it'll get hotter and hotter and hotter until it explodes.
Oh. Okay, well, we'll try doing that maybe at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Just to see an experiment, to see what other layouts we could do in it. For now, we're going to make a super stable nuclear facility to power our super stable, awesomely powerful fusion reactor. That was part 1. Thank you very much, Doodart. I've learnt a lot.
Yay.
Well, we'll both be here next time on Utopia for part 2 of the great fusion reactor build.
Hopefully not exploding.
Definitely not exploding. See you later, folks.
Goodbye.